Hi everybody, I'm Nir, and we are doing today a video called Israel's Laser Misconception versus Project Zet, a new anti-drone defense model. Okay, so the photo that you see here is thanks to Israel's government press office, GPO. Let's start. I will try to keep it in less than an hour. Now it's 9 o'clock. We'll try to make it until 10. Okay. The video is the whole Project Zet, is dedicated to the loving memory of heroes, Arnon Zmora on the left and Yossi Tahar on the right. Thanks to Ynet and Mako N12 for the photos, and this in the middle, it's the logo that I made for the Project Zet logo, their initials in Hebrew. Okay, so first the outline of the problems and the solutions. First, problems. Problems outline: Israel's laser. Cost: thin line, easily breached. Vulnerability: effort concentration. Cannot chase. Opposite of ship. Laser mirrored. Double-edged sword. Electricity: tentative fuel supply. Shifting fire: slow direction change. And most of the above with radar too, okay, except the mirroring. Okay, now the outline of the solutions. My Project Zet. How to build laser for cheap. Triple hierarchy of redundancy. Continuity, handover or handoff, it's the same thing, two words for the same thing. Chet, laser chess, game in real life. Solar cooker plus updraft tower synergy. Split the difference, dynamic allocation. String out LiDAR, like radar 2. Let's describe each problem in detail. Example: Dragonfire costs like a F-35. Producers marketing the low cost per shot, but fail to mention insane price of whole battery. Okay, the photos are thanks to UK Ministry of Defense and United States Navy. USA forced Israel to buy 35 bad F-35s. China hacked and copied but never uses it, J-31. Older technology radars can find it, not stealthy. One enemy's S-400 can easily kill it. So, 18 lasers for one, okay, this is my working assumption. 18 lasers for 160 kilometer border in the north. In parentheses, unlike F-35, without USA's subsidizing and pushing, Israel buys only half as many. Okay, this is a map of the north of Israel and our neighbors. One big laser every 9 kilometers is paper thin. Range 7 kilometers. Each laser's range is 7 kilometers. Map thanks to Matan Kick. If one unit is bombed, this means entire system is useless. All drones pass through the hole. Okay, you see this scenario again thanks to for the map to Matan Kick. You see that if there is a hole, not if, like when there is a hole, the whole thing is useless. Everybody goes to the bridge. Just like automated guns on October 7th, instantly destroyed by Hamas drones. This is Rafael's sentry tech. In Hebrew it's called ceasefires. This is a photo from Ynet of what happened. A drone with a grenade or something blew it up, and then the whole thing started. Just like the whole north is burning now, okay, even yesterday a couple, a married couple, husband and wife, were killed because Iron Dome is anti-economical. In parentheses, shamelessly, they flaunt it now to sell their laser. Okay, now that they want to sell the laser, they say, look, it's a lot better than Iron Dome. Well, you knew it when you developed Iron Dome. Okay, so here you have two articles on two aspects. Israel's Iron Dome risks being overwhelmed in all-out war with Hezbollah, says US. Okay, they will have 3,000. They will fire 3,000 missiles per day or more if they want. And this is from The Guardian, thanks to The Guardian. Sorry. And another article from thanks to Indian Express. The headline is Cost and Benefit. Israel's very expensive defense against aerial threats. Okay, so here they say it costs 5 to 10 times to defend like we do than the attack costs. Okay, can you spot a pattern emerging? Israel, or maybe Rafael, loves white elephants. Okay, what is a white elephant? Huge cost, but tiny usefulness. Like defense weapons that are much costlier than attacks. Tests well against 1 or 2 or 3, it's like a show, but ineffective against real swarm. But sells great in arms fair. Okay, the painting is thanks to Colesworthy grant. It's from 1855. How smart people make dumb systems. Firstly, they misunderstand field experiment. They just do the same outside the lab. You should simulate terrorists by motivating your most creative and out-of-the-box people to outsmart you. After October 7th, it turned out the Devil's Advocate unit, okay, it's something that Israel always wants different translation, different explanation to the same facts, and another view, like an opposite view. So this department in the IDF was one man who was merely a civilian. Smart people, dumb systems continued. Secondly, looking back to my days in the IDF, the red team, simulating enemy, was friends with the blue team, simulating Israel. Okay, it was just, they split us up randomly, and we ate lunch and then do this and then we come back. Okay. They don't want to embarrass them. The boss, or your commander, or your boss at work, also wants good report and not spoil sports. Give him a sellable product. Remember Thomas Ronald Barron and his family, who were murdered by NASA. I know it sounds harsh, but you should watch NASA's Unexplained Files episode about this for details. Okay, it's very, very convincing. It's not like a crazy conspiracy theory. There was a train owned by NASA, and it reminded me of the scene in Erasure, in the Schwarzenegger film. He was a whistleblower, and they really, really didn't want him to talk more. Okay, lessons from Japanese martial arts. Okay, a quote: if one enemy attacks me, I do this. If two enemies attack me, I do that. If 10 enemies come, I run away. Okay, so it's obvious what's the meaning. 100 shells, rockets, simultaneously, and your laser cannon dies. Okay, so this is a quote from a katana demonstration in Japan that my parents visited. Okay, another quote relevant to us: best way to avoid punch, not to be there. So the meaning: drone can evade fire, station cannot. Okay, so you want your solution to be made up of drones, and not like a fixed station. Okay, this quote is from the Karate Kid Part 2. Okay, another misconception: bogey chase you does not equal to you chase bogey. A big immobile laser is suitable on a ship where all the bogies come to you from roughly the same direction. If you missed it, you take another shot. This is not the same as opposed to big immobile laser is unsuitable for the exact opposite situation, our situation, where the bogies try to bypass you, okay, avoid you, and continue on their way to inner Israel after a hole is breached in your line. Okay, Achilles' heel, mirror reflect laser back. Inherent problem: if a suicide drone pulls out a special mirror, much of your laser will come back to your cannon and damage it. Bill Otto explains in Quora. You have the quote in the bottom. Bill Otto explains what kind of mirror you need. multi-layer dielectric stack on a suitable glass, or ceramic substrate such as ULE, ultra-low thermal expansion glass, or zero dur, which is a ceramic material. Okay, and the illustration I put here is like this is maybe how Israel sees the Arabs, like they're stupid, but it's not the Arabs that are stupid, it's Israel that is stupid, and we've seen it in October 7th and ever since. Okay, so we need to like change our view. Okay, after 1 hour of war, most electricity is gone. Hadera, it's a city, gives 25%. Ashkelon gives 25%. Ashdod gives 15%. Okay, all of these are power plants in cities. And notice how USS Ford aircraft carrier hid, okay, near Italy, which is very far from Israel. I don't know if you know the region, but it's like we fly there for a few hours in an airplane. Fearing that Hezbollah 150,000 missiles will sink it. USS Eisenhower, okay, another aircraft carrier, was afraid to sink even more, and this ship is not in the Mediterranean at all. Okay, after 2 hours, no electricity for months in Israel. After the enemy focused one by one on Israel's remaining gas turbine power plants, okay, now we don't have electricity. How do you transfer fuel trucks after the roads are bombarded or jammed to the laser generators in the far north? You can only stockpile so much, and if you stockpile a lot, then it's also could be explode. It also can explode. Big laser is power hungry, 100K watts, 100,000 watts. And also there can be a forced fuel embargo, like in 1973, but of ships that are afraid to come because a missile will hit them. Oil tankers will not come. Okay. Proof that Israel's radars are just as bad. Recently, was I think a few weeks ago, tops, like 3 weeks. Recently, Hezbollah drone flew to Haifa, okay, my city, which is very far from the northern border, and back to Lebanon, and nobody even noticed it's there. There is no way that Israel knew about it. We would have shot it down. Okay, we are not Superman, we cannot know what it carries. We would have shot it down. Okay, that's just one drone. What happens when there are 1,000 drones, 10,000 drones? Okay, so here you see the footage that it videotaped, the drone. Thanks to the Guardian for the video, and thanks to Reuters news agency for the headline. The headline reads, Lebanon's Hezbollah publishes drone footage claiming to show surveillance of Israel's Haifa, okay, my city. Shifting fire, okay, this is another huge problem of a big laser. Shifting fire, which means slow direction change. I don't know the exact word in English. In Hebrew, it's ha'atakat esh. It's like translating the fire, moving your direction, but I don't know how it's called in English. Special forces, closed quarters, okay, in urban areas, but inside a building or something, use submachine gun, like Operation Nimrod, okay, the Iranian embassy in the UK, they used MP5. You see it on the bottom. And Entebbe, okay, Operation Thunderbolt of Israel, they used Uzi. You see it on the top. Thank you very much to popo.uw23. Okay. Why do they use these short weapons? And especially, even if the gun is like called Commando, the gun is maybe longer but short barrel. The whole thing needs to be short. Why? You see that also the guns become bullpup and so on. Why? Because angular momentum makes long barrel turn slowly. Okay, if the weapon is long, it takes long time to turn. If it's short, you can turn faster. You know, angular momentum is like a dancer on the ice skating that pulls the arms and legs close to the body, and then she or he turn quickly. Okay, so as a result, massively fortified laser turns slowly. If it's not fortified, it will be hit quickly, but if it's fortified, then it's heavy, it's massive, it will turn slowly. Imagine you need to turn 180 degrees, okay, like half a circle. It takes a second for the laser cannon as well. Assuming the bogie, the enemy's drone, moves 50 meters per second, this is like 200 kilometers per hour, and in parentheses, and also hides behind his friend, so you see it in the last minute. It can gradually, from above, like each time they sacrifice one from above, spray or squirt our laser with flammable aerosol or just something like oily. Then, in our next laser shot, it burns. Our laser burns and chars, is like blackened. Okay, or the flames distort the optics, distort the shots. Conclusion. If Israel will use Iron Beam, our laser cannon, then Israel will lose the war. Okay, before I reveal the solution, allow me to tell you two stories. Okay, first story, how little honeybees defeat a big hornet. They don't sting it. Maybe I exaggerated, like hornet is, I don't know, like this, but the honeybees are like this. Okay. They don't sting it. They don't suffocate it. They don't bite it. They just huddle around it, okay, like 500 bees from all sides. Few of them self-sacrifice because of the heat, and they use their chest muscles with the wings and warm up themselves until the hornet is cooked alive. Okay, death by heat. Okay, if you want to see the exact, this is very serious, it's an article by Japanese scientists in, I think, the University of Tokyo or something. You see here the exact reference. Ono is the scientist and his other partners, and Igarashi, Ono, et al. Unusual thermal defense by a honeybee against mass attack by hornets. Okay, this is from Nature journal, number 377, and the pages 334 to 336 from the year 1995, and you have the DOI place. Okay. The second story that I want to tell you is from antiquity, how Archimedes from Syracuse battled with I think the Romans or some enemy ships. Okay, so you see a diagram thanks to Finrind and PBROKS13, Pbrox 13. So thank you. You see on the left the ship, the sun above, and the mirrors on the shore. Here you see 3 mirrors, but actually there were a lot of mirrors, and combined into a big lens that concentrated all the heat from the sun. So Archimedes heat ray feasibility was proved a few times by serious people, the army of Greece and scientists or students at least, and in parentheses, except when Mythbusters played with school children. Okay, if you give school children a lot of tiny mirrors, then it's not, they are not serious, it will not work. Okay, here you see a painting of this event in history, a painting by Giulio Parigi, circa 1599. Sorry. Okay, so conclusion from the 2 stories so far. Multiple accumulated weak exposures to heat can be equal to, it's the same, as one short powerful exposure to heat. Okay, so many little ones are the same as one big one. This is of course relevant to the laser. We will use many little lasers instead of Israel's one big laser. Okay, let's describe, okay, these were the problems. Now, let's describe each solution in detail. 1 second, there is an airplane. Hopefully on his way to Lebanon to fuck them up for what they did yesterday. Okay. Combo of both strong and fast. Okay, like offense and defense. A laser cannon is powerful but heavy. it's immobile, it cannot move, or moves very slowly. You know, maybe if it's on a truck or something, but it moves in the speed of a truck. Drones are agile, but cannot carry powerful lasers. Okay, it's the opposite. They move fast, but they are light, but they are not powerful. Or can they? Maybe they are powerful. Step number 1. A ground laser shoots its beam to many mirror drones that reflect the ray towards enemy. Okay, here the mirror does not need to be so powerful like we had in the beginning, because it's made from many separate beams. Okay. We actually connect them on the bogie. Okay. Heavy punch and light fit. Cheap replaceable drones. But what if the enemy knocks out our ground cannon? Okay, so the whole beam is like protected because it can move. But what if, you know, still the enemy focus on our one cannon in the area and destroys it? Then all the drones are useless. Okay, step number 2, replace one big expensive laser with many small cheap lasers. Okay, thank you very, very much to Joe is my dad. It's the username of someone from Instructables. Okay, it's here you see the logo of Autodesk Instructables, so thank you. So he or she built a 0.4 watts laser for about $60. Okay, an equivalent of 100,000 watts, like the Israeli laser today, will be 250,000 units of this small laser, and all of these units will cost $15 million. Okay, so it sounds a lot, $15 million, but remember how much one big laser costs, like an airplane, like tenfold. Okay, so that's an order of magnitude cheaper than a big laser that costs like a stealth jet. The money we saved will be used for redundancy. Okay, this is a word that you will hear again and again. It's the most important word. Okay, because if you don't have redundancy, then you don't have backup, then you have only until the enemy concentrates his fire, and then you are dead. Okay, so redundancy in engineering, duplication of critical components like backup. Sorry. Okay, so the first hierarchy that we will talk about is the physical hierarchy, like fortification if you want. Some fortification will be actually in the ground, some will be in the air by movement, by maneuverability. How to organize 250,000 units together? Answer: in a hierarchy of 6 orders of magnitude. Orders of magnitude, I will have a short name for it, OMG. Okay, so the first OMG is, I I will use metaphors to make it simpler. So the first OMG is like one petal of a flower. The second OMG is a whole flower. The third OMG is like a branch with many flowers. The fourth OMG is like a trunk, a tree trunk, so it has many branches. The fifth OMG is like a row of trees in an orchard. And the sixth OMG is a whole orchard, many rows. So now we will describe what each of them means practically. Okay, so the first OMG is a petal. Okay, you see a drawing on the right. Okay, so this is the whole thing that is encircled with the dots. One improvised solar power tower. It's not exactly solar power tower, but it's like that you will have some vision of it until I explain exactly what I will use for energy. So one solar power tower, quote unquote. In parentheses, I will explain how this works soon. Close parentheses. Okay, so this goes, one tower goes to 10 laser diodes. When I say diode, each diode means this $60 device that we built for cheap. Okay, from Instructables. Okay, so 10 of these. Okay, the protection for this is a hole with sandbags. You can see in Wikipedia, defensive fighting position, but it's unmanned. Okay, you can cover it from far away. It's like we have a lot of this, so there is the power in numbers. If one is hit, it's not terrible. Okay, the second OMG, the second order of magnitude, is the flower. So 10 petals, what we described earlier, 10 solar power towers, plus strong mirrors, like unbreakable mirrors that normal soldiers use for shaving. Okay, so this goes to one pipe. Okay, pipe, tube. Imagine a periscope without lenses. Okay, so the pipe transfers the lasers from the diodes inside it, but with two mirrors in its end, not something sophisticated. An empty pipe. Okay, buried in the like 1 meter in the ground. Protection for this is a foxhole. Okay, it's kind of defense in military, and also thin metal roof, if possible, with sandbags that take they have large momentum and they take the heat, the force of the blow if something blows nearby. But again, unmanned. Okay, the third order of magnitude, OMG, is a branch. Okay, a few flowers. So here we have 10 pipes, 10 periscopes, plus strong mirrors, going into one TET turret. Okay, TET turret, if you don't know what it means, I didn't. You should look in Wikipedia. It's a kind of a cool bunker that can be cheap, but like very effective. It has a cement hole, a cement shield, over a little hole. It's like it's nice. Okay, so and we the pipes enter the turret, the bunker, through a slit trench. Okay, this whole thing is very cheap. When I say bunker, you imagine something expensive, but this is something very, very cheap. Okay, protection, it's dug underground. The concrete turret is manned. Okay, this is the first in our orders of magnitude that is manned. There is somebody there, a soldier. Okay, now I will explain roughly how a reflecting telescope looks like. And imagine that we are, all our drones, we have a lot of little drones, friendly drones of ours, that we use with mirrors, each one with a mirror, and we use them all together to build a reflecting telescope, but standing in the sky, and like a big reflecting telescope. But instead of a telescope of light that comes into our eyes to see the stars, light from the stars that comes into our eyes, we focus many laser beams on the bogey. Instead of our eye, we have the bogey. Instead of our starlight, we have our laser diodes, our small laser diodes. Okay, so here is a diagram by Krishna Vedala. Okay, if you don't understand exactly, don't worry, it's not, the principle is what counts. The light comes from the left, and the focus point is the red thing, the X, on the right. And so I needed a lot of space for the diagram, otherwise it would have been small and you wouldn't see the details. But there are like two mirrors, the primary mirror, which is on the right side, which gets the starlight first, and then these two parts of the mirror. In reality, we will have a lot of parts, like 10 parts. Focus all the energy, all the light, or all the laser, in our case, all the beams on the secondary mirror that you see in the middle. Okay, and from the secondary mirror, it goes to the target, to our eye or to our enemy drone. Okay, so now we create a reflecting telescope, but we build it from sterilized EVO or DJI drones. Okay, these are two companies or models. And sterilized, we mean that the Chinese or whoever produces them cannot control them from far away or something, or shut them down or make them hostile to us. So we take out the evil parts. Okay, the fourth order of magnitude is the trunk. Okay, so it has many branches. So 10 TET turrets goes into this is what we call a trunk. 10 auxiliary drones that together make one primary mirror. Okay, and the primary mirror, I remind you, it's on the drawing of the telescope, it was the turquoise, the light blue thing on the right, essentially flying, reflecting telescope. And the protection of this of all these drones, they don't have fortification, they just have their maneuverability. All of our drones only have their maneuverability. They move like, I will explain later how they move. Okay, so the fifth order of magnitude is a row. Okay, like I made an illustration of a row of Christmas trees, so a row of trees. So 10 primary mirrors, okay, go into 10 what we call a row. What is a row? It's 10 auxiliary drones that together make one secondary mirror. Okay, this is important. It's the secondary mirror. It's not the primary mirror. It was in the middle. It's the turquoise, the light blue thing in the middle of the telescope that we drew. Again, the telescope was lying down, but in reality it's like it's 90 degrees standing up in the air. Okay, so essentially a flying refracting telescope. I think here it's a mistake and it should be reflecting, not refracting. Okay, but it's the principle that counts. Okay, the protection, again, maneuverability. It can move as a whole unit. Okay, so the whole thing moves together because otherwise the drones cannot point to each other. Okay, so the sixth and the last order of magnitude is the orchard. Okay, a whole orchard, many rows. So we had 10 secondary mirrors, and this go to one death ray. It reminds me of Dr. Evil, like the beam, laser beam. Okay, so of 100 kilowatts, okay, 100,000 watts, which is equivalent to what the Israeli laser, the big Israeli laser is supposed to have. So this death ray, which we reroute until we hit the enemy. Okay, so it's made from many small beams, but we don't care about this. And in fact, it helps us not to burn the our mirrors until it's all focused on the bad guy, on the bogey. Okay, so the whole telescope keeps the same orientation and it moves pseudo randomly as one. Okay, so it moves suddenly to here, like a mosquito. Okay, you know how it's hard to hit a mosquito because it moves, you know, in an unpredicted way. It's not like some other insect. It moves like in a strange way. So here we cannot do it randomly because each drone needs to know where the others are going. So it's pseudo randomly, but all our drones in this area know it. Okay. Okay. Another hierarchy, we talked about the physical hierarchy, now the computer hierarchy. Again, an airplane. I'm stopping so that you can hear me better. Sorry. Okay, so we cannot wait forever. I hope it will pass us. Okay, so computing hierarchy, we need to strike a balance between two things. On the one hand, wishing to have each drone independent. On the other hand, not compromising too much if the drone is captured. Okay, so it needs to know a lot, but not too much. So on the top level, the ones that know everything are 3 remote computer centers that calculate, like in the North Command of the Israel, like in Zet, and 2 other places for backup. So these 3 remote computer centers calculate the whole picture and give the drones their strategic wisdom. In parentheses, all the rest are on encrypted and need to know basis. Okay, close parentheses. So not the lower, local centers, they don't know everything. They know only parts. Without this wisdom, each drone has tactical default algorithm to fall back to in case of communications failure or jamming or something. Okay. Another hierarchy that we have, a separate hierarchy, is that all our drones are the same. This way they are ready to step into the shoes of a friend drone that was hit within seconds. Okay, they are replaceable. So how do we guard against an attempt by the enemy to infiltrate our ranks with compromised or copycat drones? So like the Nazis had the Enigma codes changed daily, only here we will be much more frequent. It will be much more frequent, the changing of codes. And a drone can only climb up the ladder of command gradually. Okay, like we test it, and if it's okay for a long time, then it can gain trust with time. Okay, so for example, in the the last mirrors that we talked, like the secondary mirror, we need someone that a drone that is more that was promoted at least to the previous degree of the primary mirror or something. Okay, so all these 3 hierarchies solve the vulnerability issue, if you remember. Okay, so now I'm explaining what is redundancy in more depth. Redundancy in engineering, intentional duplication of critical components to increase system reliability, like backup or fail-safe. Okay, this is from Wikipedia. Okay, so now we talk about the electricity. We start with the solar experiments for kids. I know it sounds funny, but remember, if they do experiments for kids, it means that they always work, and everyone, even if you're dumb, you can do them. So it's like, it's foolproof. Okay, the ideas are, if you scale them up and combine them, it will work. Okay, so solar cooker, you should see this in Wikipedia. I'm not explaining what it is. I'm just describing the experiments. And also with the solar updraft tower, it's real devices, real inventions in Wikipedia, not my inventions, like real inventions. You should see them in Wikipedia. Okay, so here I'm describing the kids stuff. Solar cooker from empty pizza tray. Its cover is then wrapped with tin foil and like aluminum paper, aluminum sheet, and held diagonally with a stick. Okay, another experiment. Solar updraft tower from 3 empty tin cans, like of food or soup or something. Then we use a tin opener to remove the top and bottom. And we stack the cans one on top of the other to form a standing pipe. For the kids, this cook a marshmallow and rotate a pinwheel that is floating above the tower. Okay, these are two separate experiments. One cooks marshmallow, another rotates a pinwheel that is in this plane rotating over the standing pipe. Okay, so now we combine them and we upscale them cheaply. Okay, so here on the right you see an illustration of wind turbines. Okay, so our tower is 3 empty barrels, okay, not tin cans, but barrels, standing one on top of the other. Inside the top barrel, there is a propeller. Okay, so in this top barrel, there is a propeller that rotates like this. Okay, if the barrel opening is facing you, then it turns like this. The updraft will rotate. So you need to see Wikipedia what is this updraft. From this rotation, a battle dynamo, a magneto, produces alternating current, electricity, like your old bicycle flashlight. All around the tower, plywood boards wrapped in tin foil are the solar cooker, redirecting the sun's heat to the tower's bottom barrel. Okay, we had like a barrel. This had the barrel that had the top barrel had the propeller inside, and the bottom barrel gets all the heat from the mirrors around it, the solar cooker. Okay, so redirecting the sun's heat to the tower's bottom barrel to increase the updraft. More heat, more updraft. You should read in Wikipedia how it works. There is a chimney effect. It's a little more complicated. Okay, so now combine and upscale continued. In winter days, the top barrel can lie on its side, like what I showed you, that this barrel can lie on its side, and the propeller is like this now. And now if winds come, winter, we have winds in Israel, so the winds rotate the propeller can rotate from the winds. Okay, wind turbine. Poor man's wind turbine. Okay, so although the enemy will likely attack in the summer to create wildfires like they do now, in any way, the energy is wired to rechargeable batteries, like those used in diving xenon flashlights. So we have power at night time too, whenever we need it. Sorry. It looks like, but works differently than, like a small solar power tower. So if you need to imagine how it looks like this, but it works differently. I named it, the whole thing, Solex. Like in 007, James Bond, the man with the golden gun, they have this thing called Solex that James Bond needs. Okay. Continuity over time. Heat upon heat upon heat. Okay, it's like from the novel Dune. Okay, so when you drive and talk on the cell phone, your phone goes from one cell to another cell, hence the name. And you get continuous connection. That's handover or handoff. Out of the previous cell that is out of range and into the next cell that is now in range. Likewise, in each area along the bogy's path, our local death ray continuously heat the bogy, make it warmer and warmer, like hotter and hotter. Each time from a different direction, but its metal casing conducts the heat evenly. Okay, so if this is the bogy, it hits here and it hits here, it doesn't matter, it all gets very hot. And never cooling off until it's fried. Okay, don't hold the line in 1D, one dimension. Hold the plane in 2 dimensions. We carpet the whole surface of the north of Israel with cheap death rays. We counterattack not just in one intersection point of the bogy curve with our line of defense, line of lasers, big lasers, but instead over the whole path of the bogy above our plane. I was gonna say it's like an aerial minefield, but I just now found a very interesting article. Okay, so this is from yesterday, so I found out yesterday. I will show you. Okay, so here you see the bomb is set, the bogy is set because we killed it. Okay, so what did I find yesterday? Rand Corporation steals from me. Maybe it's a compliment. Okay, so Scott Savitz from Rand plagiarized my idea from my anti-missiles and anti-tunnels YouTube video that I emailed them, or at least sent them. Maybe it was on Twitter or a form or something, or email, but I always send all the think tanks and all the Pentagon and everybody that I sent to them half a year earlier. Okay, it was in 2022, and this is like from an article from maybe December. You see in the link, December, and my invention was in April, something like this. You can see in YouTube when the video was published, uploaded. Okay, so half a year earlier than they invented. So thank me and credit me next time, thief. Okay, so his article is called Aerial Minefields Can Put the Miss in Missiles. I heard it's more like the steal in stealing. Okay, so here you see the link in a website that is called the USNI and .org, and you see my video link if you want to see my whole invention. This is about ballistic missiles, but nevertheless they stole it. Okay. Meet in the middle, split the difference. Okay, so here we see a cute devil and angel, like meet in the middle. Our swarm system enables us to mirror more and pivot less. Pivot, it means to turn on our axis, to turn, to swivel, like to turn. Compare two situations from above, from a bird's eye view. So on the next slide, I will show you it for 1 second and then I will come back. We will see it for longer, but I want to explain. The left illustration depicts one big laser. It has to turn 180 degrees back to front. Okay, so here you see this on the left. This is what is in the past, like now. The laser cannon. This is a cannon, but I don't have a drawing of a clip out of a laser cannon, but it's the same. So it's the cannon needs to turn 180 degrees. Okay, so it takes a long time. Sorry. On the right, okay, on the right, this is the future, like on the middle of the slide. So I call this on the right side. On the right, our drones, they just need to find, they don't need to turn 180 degrees. They just need to find a friendly drone in their proximity or in a comfortable direction, in a more comfortable position and coordinate. Each of the drones now rotates a little and saving critical time. Okay, so let's see this in the diagram. Small rotations. Here I'm talking about the new system, the future. Small rotations, all done at the same time. Okay, so it's very fast. Look in the helicopter which is supposed to be our friendly drone, our drone. In the middle of the picture, on the next to the word future, you see it shoot the bogey right in front of it and then turns a little bit. And while it turns a little bit to the right, then at the same time, our other friendly drone, which is upside down to show that it's in another, already happens to be in another angle. Otherwise, we would contact another of our drones. We choose the right one, the most fit. Okay, so it's like an evolution of drones. So we turn a little and our other drone turn a little. Okay, so they both turn a little and at the same time, so it's very, very fast. And the beam, then we shoot again and the beam goes to our back without us turning much. Like we turn a little and it goes to our back. Okay, so I'm sorry. So the new bottleneck in today's world is think fast, move slow. Again, one big laser is old school thinking and design, fit for the past days when the limiting factor was the strategic command. Okay, like a commander that shouts directions, deliberating and communications through the chain of command. And the actual shooting was fast, okay, as opposed to today in the age of autonomous drone swarms controlled by AI. The bottleneck, the slowest factor, is the actual physical moving or turning. Okay, so it's completely different. Okay, so now we get to my favorite part. Future wars, also in the far future in space, will look like this. Okay, now I put a picture of the a painting of thanks to Blue Line Games. This is a painting of their game Zet 2. It's a laser game and it's like laser chess. Okay, so you see the beam coming from far on the right and coming to the next to us, hitting a pyramid in the middle, then goes to the left to a mirror, hits one silvery mirror, hits another red mirror, hits another red mirror. We don't see it because the last mirror is has two sides and we see the back of the mirror, but another mirror, and then hits the Sphinx, not Sphinx, sorry, the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh is like the king, okay, in chess. So this is like checkmate in a Zet game. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce Zet. I'm saying it like Zet in Hebrew, but maybe it's a cat or a hat or something. Okay, so Zet develops strategy against mirroring, against this hitting by mirror. So it will help us with the problem, with the big problem, the Achilles heel of the enemy returning the beam back to our laser. Okay, so the photo is thanks to Get Digital Store and Amazon. Okay, so this is the physical version of the game. There is also like a tabletop board game, physical, that you can have. I didn't buy it, but it's very cool. I wish I could buy it. Okay, so the idea came from the original laser chess from Compute magazine. Okay, they had like type printouts, type outs of the code in BASIC or some, in in a few programming languages of the actual games. This was programmed by Mike Dupont in the computing programming language Modula 2, and it won a prize in 1987. Okay, so it's on the cover of Compute. Photo thanks to ABC Publishing. Again, you see the laser going from mirror to mirror and also splitting on prism. Okay, now similarity, like what is the relevance to us? So similarities between Zet and drones. I put illustration in like ancient Egypt because it's like the theme of Zet is everything is from ancient Egypt. The Sphinx shoots the laser, the Pharaoh is your king, all the pieces, pyramid, everything. Okay, so similarities. If the beam hits a drone in any side which is not a mirror, then the drone dies. Another similarity, the enemy will send his own units which will reflect our laser back upon ourselves, or will protect with their bodies through self-sacrifice on the payload. They will protect the payload, the other drone that is carrying the explosives. Okay. Another similarity between Zet and drones, the laser beam does not know if it is hitting a friend or a foe. We must calculate in advance. Okay. Also in Zet you can hit your own king and die. Okay. Similarities between Zet and drones continued. The drawing is the Eye of Horus painting. Jeff, I cannot see the end of the screen. I think Jeff Dahl. You see it, so you can read it perfectly. Okay, so each drone in his turn can move a unit distance or turn a little bit. Okay, in each slice of time. Another similarity, hitting the enemy's Pharaoh is the bogey exploding, victory. Hitting our own Pharaoh is hitting our laser gun, losing the game. The beam can split with a prism, like the Eye of Horus extension of Zet, but it divides the power also. This is the price. Another similarity, like a Kadesh Tower, another extension that is like another floor, raising the beam to the upper level to protect the ground level so that they are harder to find. Like our, if you remember, the Tet turret can shoot the ray like sideways, and then the drones will be here, and if the enemy tries to see where the beam is coming from, the beam is not visible in sunlight. Also in Zet. So if you see the enemy doesn't know exactly where the beam is coming from in the ground, because it's hidden, and also I hope you understand. Okay, so now let's talk about traditional chess. So also centuries of traditional chess strategy can help us. This photo is by thanks to Ellen Light. Okay, so chess, traditional chess, and drones similarities, part 1. In chess, we have 6 pieces divided by their movement and by their attack range. A queen can move in all directions and it can attack from afar. Rook can move in 4 straight directions and can attack from far away. A bishop can move in 4 diagonal directions and can attack from far. Knight, okay, a horse, moves in a non-linear bypass. It can jump over another piece and it moves like not in a straight line, but like L-shaped, and its range it's a medium, like 3 squares, something like this. Okay, a pawn, a soldier, only forward, can move only forward, and they can attack only from close by. King can move in all directions, but can attack only from close by and no direct contact. Okay, chess and drone similarities, part 2. Okay, bear with me, there is a reason why I'm building this up. Okay, it's not just explaining chess. It will have very concrete meaning and useful meaning in defense. So, our countermeasures, so our kind of drones and weapons, divide by their way of operation into 3 types, 3 possibilities. A focused kinetic, like shooting. A spread kinetic, like explosion or flechette or net. A net is like in the movies Predator 2, or they shoot like a net gun. And the Fifth Element also they shoot a net. And also like the ancient weapon bolas of the Indians and the gauchos. Okay, and the third type of countermeasure is a laser. Okay, so 3 types. Chess and drone similarities, part 3. Okay, so we had a division by 3, and our countermeasures also divide into 2 types. One, mobile, carried by a drone, and second, immobile, not carried by a drone. So 2 types, meaning 2 possibilities. Note, there is no platform that comes close to a drone in maneuverability, in the ability to change direction fast. So even a vehicle or a helicopter are an immobile platform compared to a drone. Okay. Chess and drones similarities, part 4. Okay, so we had 3 and we need to multiply it by 2. So we have 6 combinations, and also I will give examples. examples, one example of each. So the first is a shooting drone. It's a drone with a gun, for example. The second is a spread drone, like a drone with a grenade, explode. The third is a laser drone, like a drone with a mirror. The fourth is shooting stations, like M197, or maybe it's called M197, I don't know, on a chopper, on a helicopter. The fifth is a spread station, like M203 or M203 from the ground. It's like a grenade launcher. And the sixth type is a laser station, like a Helios on the laser on the ship USS Preble. P-R-E-B-B-L-E, in case you cannot see it because of my camera. Okay. Chess and drone similarities, part 5. Okay. Now let's compare our pieces in chess and out on the field. Okay, so we connect the dots. So queen equals laser drone. Okay, remember it's all directions and far and so on. Far is not accomplished by chase, but rather by handover or handoff of the, I should have made the handshake or something. Handover or handoff of the strong beam that is received from the ground to another friendly drone. This is how we chase. Number 2, rook. Rook equals laser station. It can hit from forward or backwards or the sides, where it has relatively long exposure time, because it cannot follow in real time. Okay, chess and drones similarities, part 6. Don't worry, it's the last part. Bishop equals shooting station. Only he can hit from diagonals because he is deadly in short exposure too. Okay, even if you hit like with one bullet, then the drone goes down. In parentheses, but a big magazine, and you spray no, you shoot continuously. Okay, close parentheses. Knight, horse, equals shooting drone. Okay, drone with a gun. A small magazine and the chance to hit only from close by. Pawn, soldier, equals spread station. Okay, soldier in chess, pawn, equals spread station. Spread, or the word in net, in fishing nets, it's tout, T-A-U-T, tout, net. Spread net is like a row of pawns by, blocking everyone, blocking us and blocking the enemy. So this is like a net. King equals a spread drone. effective in all directions from close by, like a suicide drone. Okay, it will not make contact, but that's okay. The explosion close by with the suicide drone will do the damage. Okay, last but not least, seek and destroy that can actually seek. Okay, not like Israel's radar that the bogey came to Haifa. This can actually find things. Meet radar 2. Okay, so it works like string out. So I just want to display what string out means in case you don't know. It's the string between the nails on a wooden board. I'm sure you know it, but just so we are on the same page. String out creates patterns using one string. Not necessarily, but in our example. Okay, so the photo is thanks to personalcreations.com. So string out creates patterns using one string that goes between the nails. We create patterns using one laser beam, okay, that goes between the drones. Okay, imagine it's like a pentagram, but you know, with a lot of edges. Instead of nails on wooden board, we got drones in the sky. Once they catch a fish in their net, they can spearfish it, okay, find its exact position. Because if it's just a laser that, you know, the laser is cut at some point, then it hits something we don't know where, but then we can locate it. They can spearfish it using LiDAR. Okay, LiDAR is, you should see in Wikipedia if you don't know, it's the kind of laser that we use to find like ruins in the jungle and so on, or map caves and so on. This is LiDAR. It's like a radar but made from lasers, and or they can spearfish it using LiDAR or moving intersections. I will show you in a bit, to pinpoint each bogey. Okay, the drawing thanks to LWAN98, Lowen 98. Okay, so what I told you that we use moving intersections, you should see it on YouTube. This is just a video, a paused moment in the video, like one frame, but you should see it moving, because then you see what I really mean. So remember the lasers in MacGyver's pilot episode? Watch them move. MacGyver season 1 episode 1, the pilot, sum up. Okay, this guy or girl, I don't know, in YouTube, I'm sorry, in YouTube there is a channel called Summarize Everything, and there is a summary of the episode, and this is where I took the photo from. So thank you, Summarize Everything. And also, of course, thank you to the people who made the series, Paramount and ABC. Also you should watch the whole episode someday, because it's the best episode in all of MacGyver. And I love MacGyver. Okay, so this is a recommendation for a book, I think, Electronic String Art, Rhythmic Mathematics, by Stephen Erfle. It was published by A.K. Peters, CRC, Recreational Mathematics. I didn't read it yet, but it looks good. Okay, so I think the people who want to develop the system, I think this book will help. Okay, how to use the same drones, okay, the same drones that we talked about, our friendly drones that reroute the attacking death beam. So we want to use the same drones that are all over the place to make this radar too. So how do we use the same drones for the radar? They can seek in idle time, okay, if there is no bombing or no bogies, then they can seek in idle time, or in very short time slicing, like multi-threading in computing. Okay, we dedicate like a very short time to do something else and then return to our other mission, and then we do this mission and then this mission. Like we give each one a time slice and we jump between them. Very thin, very short time slice. It's called multi-threading in computing. In addition, all the drones, all our drones, have cameras, so any movement towards inland, into Israel, can be analyzed in a separate system, okay, like a computer center that takes all the video from all the drones in real time to find the bogies. Okay, so thanks for watching, and please share with friends. Thank you very much. Bye bye.